Good morning and welcome to Claret and Booze. This is Virgil. I'm back for one day and one day only. I hope you've missed me. I hope you're happy to see me. If you're not, then who cares? Turn off. Before I get started, if you like the show, then please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, why not? I don't really know. And if you want to leave a comment or two, rip it into me or whatever, then I'm happy with that. First of all, I'd like to apologise for my lack of activity on the channel over recent months. I have had a lot on, but I've been watching from afar. I've still been talking to Nick and the lads, and yes, I'm very much excited about the start of the season. Now, we've got Lopetegui, and I'm very excited about that. A lot of people, when we were linked with him, I had a few murmurs of people suggesting that he wasn't much different to Moyes, but I totally disagree, if I'm honest with you. He is at least 2 steps, if not more, up on the managerial ladder for Moyes in terms of everything we want as West Ham fans. We want a hard, passionate manager on the sidelines. We want a manager who wears his heart on his sleeve. We want a manager who stands by what he believes in. And we want a manager, more importantly, that will play attacking football. Lopetegui very much offers that. He does at times play very similar formation to Moyes, but the difference is that his formation is possession-based, which is what we want. And as we can see by the players we've been linked with and the players we've already brought in, you can see that what he's going to offer is very much what we as West Ham fans want. Now, let's look at the signings thus far. Max Kilman, £40 million. For me, fantastic signing. Now, a lot of people said it was too much money, £40 million. But, what you've got to remember is that he's a 27-year-old English-British-born player. Straight away, that brings its own British tax. He was the captain of another Premier League team, and he has Premier League experience. He's an ever-ready player, Also, don't forget the fact that Lopetegui managed him in his short reign at Wolverhampton Wanderers. So, obviously, he was a player that Lopetegui wanted. And for me, centre-back is a position that we definitely needed to strengthen, especially as we now know, it would seem that Zuma has been told to go and look for another club. It will be a shame to see Zuma go, but it's quite evident. It's quite evident that his knees are kaput. We've seen in pre-season friendlies, I think one of the games he was walking around with ice on both knees straight away after the game. So I think the rigours of the Premier League now are far too much for Zuma. And it looks like he's probably going to be off to the Saudi League, something like that, where he'll get paid well. And obviously, being a Muslim country will probably suit the way his life, the way he lives his life as well. So, good luck to him. But yeah, I think it's time for him to move on now. That leaves us with Aguerd, who I think we should put a bit of faith in. I think under Lopetegui, Aguerd will thrive a lot more, purely because he's more of a ball-playing centre-half. And if we're going to have far more possession than we ever did under Moyes, I think it's most definitely going to suit Aguerd more. I think Aguerd's got a great passing range, and I think that given the opportunity, Aguerd will be somebody who could come good under Lopetegui. As they say, sometimes a change is as good as a rest. But we still need to strengthen at centre back. We still need to bring in, in my opinion, another one, at least centre back, maybe 2. Now, I have seen a link recently. I can't remember where I saw it, but I've done a little bit of digging into this player, and that's a French player called Oumar Saleh. He's a 24-year-old, 6'4" centre-back who currently plays for Red Bull Salzburg. He came through in the lower French leagues, played for Lyon a couple of times. He's played for the French under 17, 18, 19 and 20 team. Hasn't made a senior appearance, but this guy, if you look at his show reels on YouTube, do a bit of digging, he's 24. He's an absolute unit at 6'4". He's got a great left foot, great right foot. He can play CDM. He can adapt. He's a stopper, what I call a stopper. He is a brick wall of a defender, but with an element of class. I was speaking to someone earlier, and they said there's a lot of Rio Ferdinand in him. Now, that is a big accolade. That's not me saying it, but that's what someone said to me on the phone earlier today. But Omar Saleh looks like somebody who would very much fit the ethos and the way that Lopetegui wants to play. He's a ball-playing centre-back. I don't think Zuma could ever be considered a ball-playing centre-back. I don't mean that disrespectfully, because I love Zuma in the time he's been, but it is time for Zuma to go now. Another position that we've had problems with, and we are still sort of currently having problems with, is at right-back. Obviously, Vlad, we know he's only on 35 grand a week, so you could argue, what do you expect for that money? But for me, he is a good squad player to have if he's happy to stay. I think that Soufal needs replacement, most definitely. And a player that I haven't seen any links with, but a player that has, been on, I've seen him play a few times. I've read a few sort of scouting reports about him, is Arnaud Martinez, who's he's a right back for Girona. Now, he came through the Barcelona school of football, so he's got that Barcelona type sort of style of play about him. He's played for the Spanish under-19, under-21 team. You'd imagine then he's had some sort of maybe Lopetegui, has seen him play for the Spanish under-19, under-21 team. He's obviously seen him play for Girona. He's played over 100 games for Girona already at the age of 21. And he, at only 5'9", is a very versatile right back. He can actually, and he has actually covered at centre back quite a bit. For such a short guy, he is actually very good in the air. Aerially, he is very good and very strong. So, that's another link. Arnaud Martinez could be somebody who, fills that void that we sort of feel like we're lacking with Soufal. We know that Soufal gets sort of skinned quite regularly, I'm afraid. But, Arnaud Martinez is tactically very flexible. He would suit the high-tempo game that Lopetegui would seemingly want to play. And if you're looking to create chances from the wing, he's your man. He can feed your winger. He can be a support to your winger. And if we don't get him, I think that Martinez will get a big move, very shortly, to be honest with you. It won't be long. If not this summer, then definitely next summer. So that's somebody for me that I think we should most definitely be looking at. Now, we've got a lot of players that could be potentially being moved on. I think Zuma is a must. I think he has to go. I think that even if we don't get a centre-back in, and a real centre-back, if you like, or a proven centre-back, I think we've got enough players that can fill that role short-term. I think Alvarez could quite easily slip into centre-back from time to time. So I don't think we're that desperate. I think if we had Aguirre, we've got Kilman, and you had Alvarez who can slip in there. That's not a bad three centre backs there, is it? That's not bad at all. They're all fit lads. They're all good. They're all of a good age, and they're all players that most definitely suit Lopetegui. Ball playing centre backs. You've got Sussex. I mean, look, we know Nick's opinion on Sussex, but one thing you can never take away from Sussex is the fact that the guy bleeds for the club and has bled for the club, both physically and metaphorically. So, I'll always love Sussex. I love the goals that he's got for us, but he just doesn't, and I can't see him suiting the way Lopetegui plays. He's passing at times. is atrocious, as we know, and we've already seen it in some of the pre-season friendlies. Some of his passing is absolutely shocking, and I think that's why we've got that the Argentinian Guido Rodriguez, who was an absolute surprise signing. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I didn't know much about the guy. He's very much under the radar. He came in under the radar, but he's got a great reputation. He's won World Cups and Copa Americas with Argentina. He's got about 30 odd caps for Argentina. Okay, that's not loads, but he's always in and around the squad. And the thing is with Argentina is they're a massive country with a vast array of players to choose from, massive amount of players to choose from, and to get in and around the squad consistently, to win those cups, you can't take that away from him. And I think that looking at him, he's a rock. He is a rock as well. He can put a tackle in, but he's got a little bit of flair about him. He can pass the ball well. He's got some flicks and tricks, as most Argentinians probably have. So again, I can see the natural progression. Souček for me probably will go. He's been linked with Mourinho. I think Mourinho's in Turkey now with Fenerbahce. I might be wrong. Tell me if I am. And I think we should accept the fact that Souček doesn't suit the Lopetegui style of play. So Souček will probably be a player that's got to be on the move. I wouldn't be surprised at all. We've also got Dan Potts now. Dan Potts for me has been star man in pre-season. And yes, I know pre-season to a lot of people means sod all, and it does to me. But what you got to remember is during pre-season, a lot of these young players, it's like an audition for them. And Potts went away to Wycombe, as we know. I think he got player of the season there. He went away a boy. He's come back a man, most definitely. You can see that the game time that he got at Wycombe, playing in that tough league, by the way, has made a man of him. So he will definitely be in and around the squad. And I would love to see him in and around the squad. Him rubbing shoulders with Argentinian World Cup and Copa America winners, with Mexican internationals. That can only be good for him. That can only be good for his long-term development. And I think he's going to get minutes. I think he will get a lot of minutes. Moving on to James Ward-Prowse. Now, me and Nick have been at loggerheads with James Ward-Prowse for a long time. Now, when James Ward-Prowse first came into us, you remember the start of the season, how good he was, how progressive he was, how many assists, how forward-thinking he was. And it all changed. Moyes sort of reined him in. I don't know why. I can't answer that question. But Moyes most definitely reined him in. And he became a shadow of himself. And it's a shame because for me, there's no doubt that James Ward-Prowse is more of a progressive, forward-thinking player than we believe. And people have to think about the start of that season. Now, is he beyond repair? I don't think so. Lopetegui is going to have a lot of time with these players. Remember, we're not in Europe, right? As sad as it is, we've had a great 3 seasons in Europe on the European tour. We're not in Europe. And in a way, that could be a blessing in disguise. He's going to have more time on the grass with these players. He's going to have more time, he's going to have sometimes a week between games to get out on that training pitch and relay his ethos and the style of play that he wants to see from the players on that pitch on a Saturday or whenever it might be. Now, that will give him ample opportunity to possibly change the fortunes of some of these players that have been written off because of what went previous. For me, Souček is a player that is beyond repair. I don't think he can play that style. I think he will go. But I believe James Ward-Prowse, I'm not saying he's going to play every minute. I'm not going to say he's going to start every game. But for me, James Ward-Prowse will be able to get back to the player that I think he is. Now, I'm not saying he's world class. I'm not saying he's better than what we've brought in. But he's most definitely a player who can do a job. Right? So I'm not going to write off James Ward-Prowse just yet. And people might want to poo-poo me about that. Somerville. Give a little respect to me. Looks fantastic. I believe he won Championship Player of the Season last year. Dutch player, might have a bit of Cruyff about him. He is a very exciting prospect. We know what he can do in the Championship. The Championship is probably the 5th toughest league in Europe. Yeah, he shone. He was brilliant last season. Let's hope we can replicate that. He is most definitely a Lopetegui player. Leeds last season, and prior to that, but Leeds play a high tempo, high press, which is what Lopetegui is going to want. We're going to have him. We're going to have Kudos. We're going to have Bowen. High press, high tempo. Yeah? And then that puts us up to our newly purchased German. Willkommen, meine Freunden. Du ist gut, ja? Mr. Fore. Speak a little bit of German, don't I? Not fluent, though, but, don't like to show off. Good looks, handsome, can sing. But I think more. Fore. Now, Nick wasn't too happy when we bought him. Nick referred to him as the German Jordan Hugel. But after watching his interview, Nick nearly wet himself. Because Fore is he's a bit of a throwback in many ways, and I mean that totally respectfully. He's the sort of player you'd like to go for a drink with. He looks a little bit crackers. His teeth ain't straight. I've seen him celebrating in the crowd at the end of season, singing, knocking back some Steiners with the fans. He looks a right character. And yes, he's only come onto the international scene fairly recently, but his international goal scoring record is better than 1 in 2. I think he's going to be awesome. I think he is going to be an absolute unit. And I know he's 31, and it probably doesn't fit the age profile, but to some extent, you have to stopgap a little bit. A lot of what Lopetegui is going to be doing is rebuilding, right? And sometimes it's a step-by-step process. You can't run before you can walk. And if he hasn't got the desired striker in that he wanted, the first-choice striker, maybe Duran, who knows, Fore, is he a step up from Antonio? Well, with all due respect to Antonio, you know how much I love him. He's 31, Antonio's 34, so age is better. He's better in terms of age. I think he is a step up from Antonio. And imagine having Antonio coming on the pitch with 15, 20 minutes left, full of life, full of energy, full of beans. I'm really excited about this season. And I think we all should be. Potentially, we've got more signings coming in. But even if we don't, I think what Lopetegui is building and the players we've brought in thus far is exciting. I think the fact that we're not in Europe, which will enable him to get his message across on the training pitch far more than if you were in Europe, I think is a blessing in disguise. And look, I'm not going to put a position on where we're going to finish, but I think, we've got to be looking top 8 minimum. And if we get in a few other players, then who knows? If we get another right back in, if we get another centre back in, maybe one of the two that I've mentioned, Arnau Martinez from Girona or Umar Saleh from Salzburg, maybe, just maybe, we could push on. But it's going to be tough, right? And a lot of the other clubs, who were falling short last year, they've strengthened. They've got new managers in. They may be pushing as well. So I'm really excited about the start of the season. And I'm really excited about coming back to Claret and Booze. Not that I left, mind. Not that I left. I know there's been a lot of changes, but the ethos of Claret and Booze ain't going to change. Me and Nick are still going to argue like cat and mouse. I'm still going to be good looking. He's still going to be grumpy, right? Mickey's still about doing his pews, even though I don't like them. Only joking, Mickey. And we've got some new faces now. So not only is West Ham as a team changing and new blood coming in, shall we say, so's Claret and Booze. So please keep supporting the channel. Please keep supporting Lopetegui and West Ham. We've got a hard start, Villa at home. They're no mugs. Unai Emery and all that. But I'm really hopeful, you know. So let me just say this: keep watching the lads. I'm away for a little while now on holiday, but I'll be back, and I'll be doing more and more shows. We've got new features coming up. Don't forget, hit the like, subscribe already, hit the bell notification. If anyone wants my number, any women want my number, just put a message in the comments. My wife don't know; she don't watch Claret and Booze. She don't care about football. It's only a game. Anyway, good luck, West Ham. Opening game of the season. Hope you all enjoy the game. Don't forget, Nick's doing the watch-alongs now as well. I'll be back very shortly. I'll phone in. I'm going to phone in a couple of shows, probably drunk from Turkey. But thanks for watching. Come on, you irons. Plenty of changes have already happened and plenty more to come. So thanks for watching. Take care. Good luck, lads. Come on, you irons.
In a world where safety matters more than ever, Fore Security Solutions is here to protect what you value most. Our expert team work tirelessly to tailor solutions just for you. So join the countless businesses and homes across London who trust Fore Security. We don't just secure spaces, we provide peace of mind. Take the first step towards a safer tomorrow and contact us today, and let's build your security solution together. At Fore Security Solutions, your safety is our priority.